Hey guys, Zach Draskovic here. Today in this video, I'm going to cover small topwaters and why you should throw them, especially this time of the year. In this late summer, early fall transition, a lot of bass are chasing little tiny shad or minnows. And if you're throwing a regular full-size topwater, you can have trouble sometimes getting them to commit. You'll have a lot of fish slashing at your lure or ignoring it completely. If you're seeing a lot of small shad and bait fish in your area, that these fish are skipping up out of the water, or in my case spitting out onto the deck of the boat, you know it's time to throw a small topwater. Now I really love BFS and small lures. Oh man, they're teasing me. They're schooling up right behind me here as I'm trying to film. I've caught a couple of these here already. Now I'm going to start off with the walking baits, because in the fall time, when the fish are actually busting up bait fish, walking bait is hard to beat. Now my favorite that I've been throwing here lately is this little Mega Bass Dog X Jr. And man, I have put a hurting on some fish. They're jumping clean out of the water to get this thing. It's been so much fun. It's a very small lure, but if you put it on a spinning rod or BFS gear, you can sling this thing a mile. And this is my my favorite super small BFS walking bait. Now I also will throw the Sammy version, the Sammy 65, which is just about the same size, little bit different profile, slightly smaller. This is definitely a spinning rod only walking bait. This is another good one as well if they're chasing those small little bait fish. But the Mega Bass Dog X will cast a little bit further. If you need something that you can cast on traditional bait casting gear because you don't have BFS or any spinning rod suitable for topwater, that's when I would go with this JT 95. Still a very small bait, but it's heavy enough to where you can cast it on a bait casting setup. And my favorite thing about this lure is this is the smallest spook style lure that I found that has 3 hooks. A lot of times in the fall period, you'll get a lot of bites that are slashing. These fish get really excited when they get in these schools, and they will pummel your bait sometimes without opening their mouth. So 3 hooks is great to have. Now another bait that I really like this time of the year, working grass lines or when the fish are a little bit more negative, is a small popper. Now the one that I have really been doing the best lately, and I haven't heard this bait talked about at all, is the Jackson PY popper. This thing is tiny, 1/8 of an ounce. You know, you have to use spinning gear to cast this, or BFS, and this clear one in particular has been doing so well. And what I like about this popper, this particular popper, is the mouth on it is cupped really well, so you can still get a really aggressive splash on it that looks more, or sounds more like a full-size popper. So you get a lot of drawing power, but it's a small profile. It doesn't give a really distinct profile on the water, and it can cause some fish to commit who have seen a lot of different lures. So give this Jackson PY popper a try. The other one that I really like is the Demiki Oompa. Still very small lure, I think like 1/8 of an ounce. But what I like about this lure again is it's got that big cup. So even though it's a small lure and you can work, if it's flat, you can do very small pops. But that big cup allows you to give an aggressive splash, and sometimes that can trigger reaction strikes. Now you may think throwing a small lure you're only going to catch small fish, but you will get some big bites with this, especially if you're doing the aggressive pops. The key when you're throwing small baits to get bigger bites is to do a faster movement with the walking bait. Use a more aggressive splash with the popper, and that'll that'll trigger a reaction strike. It just triggers a core reaction in these fish, and will cause the big fish that has seen a lot of different lures to lose their mind for a second and make a mistake that you can capitalize on. Now, another small popper in the category that I've caught fish on is a little Euro tackle, still same size as these others, but this one is a more finesse one. You can't get that aggressive pop, so I would put this on the bottom of the list of my poppers, but it's very affordable, and it has caught fish on. I've caught fish on it, but these poppers are my favorite. And you can do traditional, you know, how I was taught with the popper originally when I was young is you pop it, let the ripples settle, pop it again. And if you're in a casting at a target and trying to milk a target well, you can do that, and that'll catch fish. But I like working as fast as I can until I can find fish, and you can just reel and keep popping this thing in, and you can cover a lot of water and catch more fish that way, and until you locate a group of them. You can cover water with a popper very well, almost as fast as with a walking bait, just pausing it once in a while, but keep popping it to you, and you'd be surprised. You don't need to go and let the ripples settle, as the old timer in the tackle shop showed me. You can go and you can really work this thing fast and cause fish to just lose their minds. So experiment with your retrieve, try some slower pops, try some more aggressive pops, mix it up and see what the fish like. But if you have not tried these and you are into BFS, you're doing yourself a disservice. All right, another bait that I really like this time of the year when these fish have been pressured all year and they get really finicky is the Jackal Riser. Now, this bait was kind of a secret lure for a while. It's starting to become more mainstream, but this lure will catch fish sometimes when the other topwaters will not. You can work it as a wake bait up top or a little bit slower subsurface, and when you kill this thing, it falls backwards to the fish. And I've caught a lot of fish this time of the year on a riser when they won't commit to other topwater baits. When the fish are really pressured, this is something that not as many people throw, and this thing gets bit. And again, it's a small profile, and you can cast this on bait casting gear, normal setup, but if you put this on a little spinning rod or a BFS setup, you can sling it a country mile, and that is my preferred way of throwing this lure. All right, last in the topwaters that I use a lot in the smaller bait category is this Demiki Slim Jack. This is something that not a lot of people throw, but man, this thing gets bit. And you can see it's got a lip, it's a jerk bait. This thing is barely subsurface. And again, like that Jackal Riser, this can get bit when they won't commit all the way up on top. So give this lure a try. It's a very small, slender profile, and that erratic movement this time of the year can really make fish come unglued. All right, thanks for watching today's video. Please subscribe, and I have links to some of these baits down below if you want to check them out. I hope you can go and get some of these small topwaters and fish them with confidence this time of the year, and it'll put more fish in your boat.